guys, it's Sam, and today I want to talk about some of the changes that are coming to my Patreon community. If you are not at all interested in Patreon, I totally understand, and I have another video being uploaded today that you can go and check out instead. But if you are a little intrigued about that thing that I always talk about, as far as Patreon supporters having an additional community where they get to be really involved with my content, then I'm adding a ton of things, and I want to kind of introduce you to it. So keep watching if you're at all slightly interested. So if you're not familiar, Patreon is a platform where you can support monetarily content creators for their content from as little as $1 up to additional tiers, depending on what kinds of additional content the creators are creating for people in their community. I would say over the past year, I've really expanded the Patreon community, and we've really made it into something that's really cool, I think. And I say we because I really do involve my Patreon supporters in most of these decisions that I make about the community. So the things I'm going to be announcing to you now were done in collaboration with them. So everything I currently have on Patreon will stay the same. You can become a patron for $1, and that gives you access to the Patreon exclusive Discord, being a part of the monthly Patreon exclusive live streams. You can enter it into a raffle to pick any book off my TBR for me to read, and just some general Patreon announcements and things like that. And all the subsequent tiers include all of the perks from the tiers below them, as well as the perks for that tier. So the next tier up gets to vote on monthly polls for books that I'll read and review, and we also buddy read them on the Discord, and they get an additional entry into the raffle to pick a book off of my TBR. That one person gets to do that. And then the next tier, which is currently my highest tier, gets to do all of that and gets an additional raffle entry, as well as gets to vote in video topics that I'll do every month. That is what we currently have, and I really like it, but I'm adding some additional things as well for the next year, and we just talked about this in my most recent Patreon exclusive live stream. So I usually talk about things in the live stream and on Discord, and then do polls and stuff for people that can't make those kinds of events, and we kind of go from there. So the community is constantly evolving and changing with the input of the community. So if you like the space that I've created on my social media platforms, this is an even more specialized space with that same vibe and like-minded people. So I will talk about some of the tiers and perks later, but first I want to mention that we have decided to change the name of the Patreon community, because I've always said, like, just calling it Patreon just feels very generic, doesn't really embody what it is, because I know you guys are like, oh my god, you're just saying all this because they like give you some money every month, and I'm like, it's a perk, that's nice, but also it really is its own community. I am so grateful, especially this year, for my Patreon supporters, because we have been staying really connected throughout the year. We talk about goals, we talk about books we're reading, we read books together, we do the live streams. Like, it is just a really fun space. So I just thought calling it Patreon is just like, it doesn't really give you the vibe of how it is. So with the input of my current supporters, we came up with the Bibliothecary. Now, some of you might know what that word is. It's an older word that's no longer really used, and it was usually referencing libraries, but specifically a librarian. So we're kind of taking it out of that context because it's a word that's no longer used. Even though it's supposed to be talking about like a person, this is more for like a space. And I think the term the bibliothecary is so like my vibe and like my aesthetic and everything, which is really cool. In addition to that, also wanted to change the names of just calling people like Patreon supporters or patrons, and they chose the name of Seekers, which makes the whole thing, if you become a Patreon supporter, means you become a part of the Seekers of the Bibliothecary. The vibe there, the dark academia, forest, ancient library aesthetic of that is too much, and I am so grateful that y'all are so much more creative than I would probably have been. But that is beautiful. Also, we are changing the name of what I used to call the Patreon VIP, which I never really liked that name either, but that is the person that, when I put names in the raffles and I pick one, the VIP that I used to refer to gets to pick any book off my TBR for me to read. We're changing that to the curator. So good. So now onto the perks and additional tiers that I'm adding. All things that were talked about with the community and voted on by the community. One of the things is that for all tiers, there's going to be occasional like watch-alongs. Now, I don't really know how this is going to work yet because I have to still try it out. I think it would probably end up happening through the Discord because that makes it easiest. But basically, we were talking about like movies that are coming out and things, you know, we can't watch things together these days. Like, no one is being really social, or like, you know, no one in my community is really being very social. So we are like, okay, it'd be nice to watch TV shows together or movies together. So I don't know how regularly this will happen, probably pretty regularly, at least during like the winter months. But this will motivate me to watch more things that you guys want to watch anyway, because I'm so bad about watching like TV and movies and stuff. So we're gonna do like watch-alongs together. Again, this will be discussed more on the Patreon page and in the Discord as far as when these things will be scheduled. It'll probably be kind of random. I'm potentially thinking about watching the new Wonder Woman movie, possibly Bridgerton, the newest Mandalorian season that I still haven't watched, maybe Stranger Things, when The Witcher comes out again. So like some of these things that I plan on watching and really tend to put off, I'm thinking about doing with watch-alongs. So we will be figuring out as a community how that will work, but that's something that they really requested and we're going to do for all the tiers. One perk that I'm adding for the $5 tier and everyone above that, obviously, because everyone gets the tiers below. You see how that works? I'm doing a Patreon exclusive vlog every month. So this is again something that the community voted on. This will be a month-long vlog of, you know, like my life, which I guess some people find interesting. I know I still will do like reading vlogs and things on my channel, but everything additional vlog-wise will be in this monthly vlog that I'll put out just for the community. For January, it's definitely going to be like beginning of the year reset stuff, declutter based, like digital declutter, something like that. But again, every month it'll just be something with like life stuff. Now for additional tiers, I'm adding 2 additional tiers. So the next tier up after my 3rd tier, so now the 4th tier that I'll have is going to be the String of Hearts tier. Here is the little art that Hannah created, who I will link down below. She has done all of my Patreon art. So the String of Hearts tier gets everything in the tiers below, as well as at least once monthly tarot card pulls that I will make book recommendations based on. For right now I'm thinking monthly, but if I end up thinking that I can do this more often, it could change to every 2 weeks or possibly every week. But I will do like a 1-card tarot pull, recommend books based on the themes of that tarot card, and also give sort of like monthly reading advice / like general advice. I'll kind of see how this goes for that tarot card, like for the community and anyone that's interested. So that is something that'll be potentially more frequent. Also, I'm having Patreon exclusive merch. So for this tier, they will get a code to get a sticker, a die cut sticker from the Patreon exclusive shop for free. And this is the art, again created by Hannah. I put this together. This is a design I've had in my brain for a really long time and I just think really embodies like my vibe. So love this. And I was thinking too that a die cut sticker could be used as a bookmark because I'm doing this through Teespring and bookmarks are not available on Teespring, but a lot of people wanted bookmarks, so this can kind of be used as a bookmark. And this is also a like coupon or like free thing, like every 6 months or so they will get, so it won't be a one-time thing, and they can use for other merch that I will eventually have in the shop as well, because this is kind of evolving. And lastly, the top tier now is the Monstera tier. So again, they get everything from the lower tiers, as well as a personalized welcome video, so when they sign up, they will get a personalized video from me. Like every single person that signs up will get a video of me talking to them. And people at that tier will also get random videos, like those little personalized, almost like vloggy videos throughout their time randomly. I'm thinking probably around like holidays, but for me holidays can happen like a lot of times because I do sort of wheel of the year type stuff. So around like holidays, around, I don't even know, like maybe something drops and I want to like let them know my immediate reaction. I'm not sure how this is going to work yet, but there will be like multiple personalized videos for each Patreon supporter throughout the year, in addition to the welcome video. Then they also get an additional raffle entry to be a curator. So that means they get 4 entries. They get the most entries of anybody when the raffle happens. So the highest odds of being picked, basically. I use a random number generator for that. That's all chosen by technology. And then at the top tier, you also get basically a book review podcast from me for every single book that I read that I don't have a specific review video for. This is one of the things I'm like most hyped about. I mean, I'm hyped about all of it. I'm hyped about the tarot card reads. I'm hyped to do the videos, but this is like, I will have recorded reviews for every single book that I read. They will be the only ones with access to this, and I think that'll be really cool because I don't love writing out reviews even on Goodreads. I'm still gonna do that. Like nothing with my other content is gonna change at all. It never has. But now every single book that I read will have a voice recorded review, which I think is the best way for me to actually like tell you my feelings about a thing. And also in the Monstera tier, you get a code for a mug. So the art on the mug, again, made by Hannah, beautiful. A lot of people said they wanted either like a bookmark or a mug, so these 2 things were the easiest to do for the tiers. And I think in the future I'll be expanding to different items as well, possibly like hoodies, shirts, things like that. I just really love this art, and it's such a vibe. I'm really doing this because I want to have like this art myself as well. It's my aesthetic. And lastly, for the very beginning of the month, I'm doing something that I did last spring. And for anybody who is the $8 tier or above, they get to partake in a special offer. So from anyone who's the $8 tier or above, from January 1st, 2021 to January 14th, 2021, if they want to, they can have a half an hour video voice call with me for me helping them unhaul some books. So I did this in April of this year, I believe, with some Patreon supporters and got really good feedback about it. People have always said that they like need help with unhauling and it's better to have like a third party. So basically I sit down with you, tell you how to do your unhaul, how to organize books, walk you through spots that you might get stuck, any of that sentimentality, like work through it and get you to a place that you want with your bookshelves. This can be TBR books, this can be read books, this can be unread, but whatever kind of collection book related that you want to work through, I will do that with you for half an hour for, again, anyone that's in those tiers. And you don't have to do this, but at the end of the special offer period, I will email everybody who is in that tier and ask them if they want to be a part of it. And then everyone that does, I will schedule people based on my schedule and other people's schedule. So over the next, like, the first probably few months of the year, I'll be doing these because I can't do them every day because of my full-time job, but I'll be working these in depending on how many that there are and getting through everybody in the first little part of the year so you can have organized bookshelves for the rest of the year. I know a lot of us are harnessing that beginning of the year energy, so I thought this was a good time to do this again and bring this offer back. So I think that is it. So comment down below, let me know if you have any questions about the Bibliothecary experience, if you're thinking about becoming a seeker. I love all of this. And if you are already a part of the Bibliothecary, let people know down below. So thank you all for watching and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.